Welcome back. I'm Rajveer Kaur. I'm a mindful chemistry coach. I help 11th and 12th class science students get above 90% marks in their chemistry exams. Okay, so in this video series, I'm taking up the back exercise of NCERT 11th and 12th class chemistry. And in this particular video, I will be taking up question number 11 to question number 15 of second chapter 12th class NCERT back exercise. The name of the chapter is Solutions. So let us now move into the 11th question. And one more thing I want to tell you that if you want to study directly from me in my online live classes, then you can just contact me, see the description, and you will come to know how you can reach out to me. All right. So let us now move into question number 11. So the question number 11 of this chapter is, why do gases always tend to be less soluble in liquids as the temperature is raised? Question number 2.11. Oh, I think I need to change the color of my pen. So just let me change it. Okay. Question number 2.11. It says, why do gases always tend to be less soluble in liquids as the temperature is raised? So the solubility of gases, it decreases with the increase in temperature. This we need to explain. Okay, this will be explained on the basis of Le Chatelier's principle. Le Chatelier's principle. Now, I will not be giving you the proper statement of Le Chatelier principle and then explaining. I will be directly explaining it to you. Suppose there is a system which is in equilibrium. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of equilibrium? That is, the rate of forward process is equal to the rate of backward process. Now, when we are talking about the gases dissolved in liquid, initially we had gas and we had liquid. We mixed them together and it became dissolved gas. Or we can say it became a solution of gas in liquid. Okay. Now, what happens? We are saying that if we increase the temperature, the gas will tend to get less dissolved into the liquid. What is the reason for that? Now, in this particular equilibrium, the forward process is exothermic. Forward process is exothermic, that is, heat is released when a gas gets dissolved in liquid. Therefore, the backward process will be endothermic. Now, according to Le Chatelier principle, if a system is in equilibrium and there is some kind of change in that system, the system will try to undo that change. The system will try to undo that change. Now, what is the change happening here? The change is increase in temperature. So we are increasing the temperature of the system. What will the system try to do? It will it will try to undo the increase in temperature. That is, it will try to decrease the temperature. Now the temperature is decreasing in the backward direction. That is when gas and liquid are separate. So this means if the temperature will be increased, the gas will tend to be less soluble in water, because according to Le Chatelier principle, if a system is in equilibrium and there is some change in this property of the system, it will try to undo that change. Okay, so let us now move into the next question, question number 12. It is state Henry's law and mention some important applications. State Henry's law and mention some important applications. Okay. So 2.12 question is there. Henry's law. So Henry's law is for the dissolution of gases in liquids or in solvent. Dissolution of gases in solvent. So this law states that the mass of gas dissolved in a solvent at a particular temperature is directly proportional to the pressure of gas the pressure of gas above the solution when the gas is in equilibrium with the solution. When the gas is in equilibrium with the solution. Okay, so let us just understand this statement. Mass of gas dissolved in a liquid, it is directly proportional to the pressure of the gas above the solution at a particular temperature. So I'm considering bottle of Coke. So let us draw a bottle of Coke. Do not laugh at my drawing, okay? So this does not look like bottle of Coke, but we assume that it is bottle of Coke and it is sealed. Okay, so suppose up to this level, it has been filled. Now, this space that seems to be empty, it is not empty, it is having gas at high pressure. Gas at high pressure. Why? It is because of Henry's law. Because Henry's law states that the dissolved gas, the amount of gas dissolved in the solution, it will depend upon its pressure above the solution when it is in equilibrium. So greater the pressure above the solution, more is the dissolution of gas. Okay, so M is equal to K into P, where K is Henry's constant. Henry's constant. Sometimes it is written as KH also. Okay, and it depends upon nature of gas, temperature, and units of pressure. Units of pressure. This is Henry's law. Simple. Okay, then next part of this question is we need to tell some important applications of this law. Important applications. First application we have already done, that in aerated cold drinks, the bottles are sealed with high pressure of carbon dioxide above the solution. Bottles are sealed with high pressure of carbon dioxide above the solution. Okay, so that is the first application of Henry's law. The second one is scuba diving. That is the divers who go under the sea. Okay, let us draw sea. Let us make it more interesting. Okay, now this is the sea level and this is the under the sea. Okay, when the scuba diver is near the upper end of the sea, he is breathing from a cylinder of gas. Suppose this is the cylinder of gas and the scuba diver is breathing through the cylinder and it has been filled with nitrogen and oxygen. When he is near the level that is not below the sea, I mean, it is not very deep inside the sea, but it is at the above level, what will happen? The pressure is low. Here, low pressure is there. So at this point, there is no problem. But when this diver, he goes deep inside the sea, what happens? Pressure increases. Now what will happen? He is breathing from the bag, from that tank he is carrying. Okay. So when he will be coming back, what will happen? Nitrogen and oxygen, they are inside the body at high pressure. Oxygen is required, it will be used. It will not create any kind of harm. But what about nitrogen? When the diver is coming up, nitrogen will, its pressure will start decreasing. It will start coming out of the body and it will start producing bubbles. Now these bubbles, what they do is, they block the blood flow. They block the blood flow and sometimes they burst the capillaries. They can even burst the capillaries. Okay. Now, if this happens, it is very painful and it is dangerous for life. And this situation or this condition is known as bends. Now to prevent the diver from bends, what now is done, now what we do is, or the divers or whoever fills the tanks with gas, they will be adding nitrogen plus oxygen plus helium. Now the reason why helium is put is it is having a better solubility in blood than nitrogen, and its atomic size is very small. Number one thing, it will be existing only in the atomic form. It cannot form the molecules because helium is an inert gas. It will not form He2 molecule. Secondly, its atomic size is very small. Now, it can cross through the capillaries, that is the cell membrane. It will be having cell membrane. It will be able to cross the cell membrane without having any harmful impact on it. Okay, so the situation of bends will be prevented. Because when nitrogen and helium are together present, helium is going to get dissolved in preference to nitrogen because it is having a better solubility. Okay, so this is how they prevent the bends condition. This is the application of Henry's law. Let us now move into the third application. The third application is anoxia. It is not third, it is the we will be explaining anoxia using Henry's law. What is anoxia? Anoxia is the lack of oxygen. When our body, it lacks oxygen, we feel weak and we feel that we are not able to think. So inability to think. So that condition is known as anoxia. So the people who live at high altitudes, that is in mountains, or the climbers, they face this problem because at high altitudes, there is low pressure of oxygen. Pressure of gas is low, so oxygen will be at a low pressure. So its solubility into, or its intake into the body, it decreases, its solubility in blood decreases. So what happens? Due to the lack of oxygen, this situation happens. So this can be explained on the basis of Henry's law because it states that it will depend upon the pressure of the gas. The solubility of gas will depend upon the pressure of the gas above the solution. Okay, so let us now move into the next question, that is question number 2.13. It is the partial pressure of ethane over a solution containing 6.56 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 3 gram of ethane is 1 bar. Okay, mass of ethane has been given 6.56 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 gram, and the pressure is given 1 bar. This is for solution of ethane. Then if the solution contains 5.00 into 10 raised to the power minus 2 gram of ethane, then what shall be the partial pressure of the gas? Okay, so this is, suppose this is solution 1, and then we have been given solution 2 of ethane itself. In that solution, mass is equal to 5.00 into 10 raised to the power minus 2 gram. And we need to find out what will be the pressure. So we know the relationship, mass is equal to K into P, but we don't know K. K we can find out from the first solution, because in both the cases, ethane is the gas and KH depends upon the nature of gas. Gas is same, K will be same. Okay, so here I can just put 6.56 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 equal to K multiplied by 1. So K will be equal to, so this is gram, this is bar. K will be equal to 6.56 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 gram bar inverse. Okay, then second one, M is equal to K into, we can say M dash is equal to K into P dash. So M is multiplied by 10 to the power minus 2 gram equal to K we have got minus 3 gram bar inverse multiplied by P dash. So P dash will be equal to 5.00 into 10 raised to the power minus 2 gram upon 6.56 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 gram bar inverse. So it will be equal to, okay, I'm just opening my calculator, 5 divided by 6.56. So it is coming out to be equal to 0.762 into 10 raised to the power minus 1 bar, or we can say not minus 1 plus 1, sorry, 7.62 into 10 raised to the, not into 10 raised to the power, we have calculated it. So 7.62 bar. Okay, let us now move into the next question. The next question is 2.14. What is meant by positive and negative deviations from Raoult's law, and how is this sign of delta H mixing related to positive and negative deviations from Raoult's law? Okay, so first of all, let's see what is Raoult's law. So the solutions which obey Raoult's law at all the concentrations, they are known as the ideal solutions. For ideal solutions P, the pressure of the solution having two components, it is equal to XA into PA naught plus XB into PB naught. Okay, so let us just draw the curve for Raoult's law. Draw straight lines. Please do not look into my lines. So this is mole fraction. Okay, now suppose I say that I have pure component A. So I can say if the component A is pure, I can say XA is equal to 1. There is no second component, only A component is there. This means XB will be equal to 0. On this side, I say there is no XA, but only XB is there. So if you see along this line, what is happening is the amount of A is decreasing and the amount of B is increasing. At this point, it is becoming pure B. At this point, it is becoming pure A. Now, when pure A is there, suppose this is the pressure of A. So I can just join this with this point. Now, if you see in this direction, what is happening with the increase in amount of A, its partial pressure in the solution is increasing. Okay, now suppose this is PA naught. Okay, now this is suppose it is PB naught, because here pure component B is present. Let us now join these 2 points. Right, now I'm just joining these two. So this curve, it is showing PA, not PA, it is showing PB, and this curve is showing PA. Now this curve, it is showing the solution's vapor pressure, the total vapor pressure of the solution, that is P equal to PA plus PB. So PA is equal to this, PB is equal to this. All right. So let us now understand what is the positive and negative deviation. I'm just clearing certain things. Okay. Now suppose the solution is showing a positive deviation. This means the vapor pressure of the solution will be more than the expected vapor pressure. This means the vapor pressure of component B inside the solution will be more than the expected. This means the vapor pressure of component A inside the solution will be more than expected. This is what we call as positive deviation. Now, when we are talking about the negative deviation, I'm just changing the color of my pen so that I can show you the negative deviation. The expected vapor pressure of the solution will be lower than the actual vapor pressure of the solution will be lower than the expected vapor pressure. The actual vapor pressure of A will be lower than the expected vapor pressure. Actual vapor pressure of B will be lower than the expected vapor pressure. This is positive and negative deviation. Now, why is it happening? Now, suppose we have two components, component A and component B. The intermolecular interactions in component A, when it is in pure form, it will be AA interactions. For B, it will be BB interactions when pure B is there. Now we are mixing the two. The interactions will be AB interactions. Now, if the AA and BB interactions are equal to AB interactions, there is no deviation from Raoult's law. That is, it will be the ideal behavior. Okay. Now, suppose these AB interactions are stronger than AA and BB interactions. AB interactions are stronger than AA and BB interactions, what will happen? The escaping tendency of the molecules, it will decrease because they are holding each other with stronger force now. So the vapor pressure will decrease. It will show negative deviation. Now, if AB interactions are weaker, then what will happen? If these interactions are weaker, then the tendency of A and B molecules to escape from the surface, it will increase, leading to the increase in vapor pressure from the expected one. Good enough. Now let us move into the delta H mixing. Delta H mixing is change in enthalpy when the two components are mixed together. When there is positive deviation, delta H mixing is positive. When there is negative deviation, then delta H mixing is negative. For positive deviation, it is positive. For negative deviation, it is negative. Why so? Positive deviation means the resultant interactions are weaker than the previous interactions. So this means to break the previous interactions, some energy has been used. So when energy is used, delta H is positive. So when negative deviation is there, AB interactions are stronger. So when strong interactions are formed, energy is released. So it is negative. Hope this is clear to you. So this is how we can explain the positive and negative deviation from Raoult's law. So let us now move into the next question. That is last question of this very video. So after that, you will be able to take break. Okay. So it is 2.15. An aqueous solution of 2% non-volatile solute. Okay, 2% non-volatile solute is there. That is, I'm so sorry, light has gone, and this we can continue. Okay, 2 gram solute is there. This means what will be the amount of solvent? It will be 100 minus 2 equal to 98 gram. This is the solvent. Okay, now the aqueous solution, it exerts the pressure of the solution. PS has been given, it is 1.004 bar. Okay, at the normal boiling point of the solvent. What is the molar mass of the solute? Okay, now first of all, we have not been given what is the solvent here. So we will be taking water as solvent. Solvent is equal to water. Now we already know P naught minus PS upon P naught, that is relative lowering in vapor pressure, it is equal to XB. It is equal to NB upon NA plus NB. Now because the solution is quite dilute, only 2 gram of solute after 98 gram of solvent, NB in the denominator we can neglect. So it will be NB upon NA. So it can be written equal to WB upon MB multiplied by MA upon WA. So we need to just put the values here. Now, when we are talking about water as the solvent, the pressure of water, the vapor pressure of water at pure water at its boiling point, it is equal to, P naught will be equal to 1.013 bar. So this is the vapor pressure of water when it is in the pure form. So we can just put the values here, 1.013 minus 1.004 upon 1.013, it is equal to. Now what is WB? It is 2. Solute, we do not know which solute is it. WB upon MB multiplied by MA. MA is the molar mass of the solvent. Solvent is water here. So it is 18. What is WA here? It is 98. Okay, so from this we can just calculate quickly what is MB. Okay, so I can just write it is equal to 36 upon 98 MB. Here I can just write 1.013 minus 1.013 0.004 divided by 1.013. So it is coming out to be equal to 0.0089 equal to 36 upon 98 MB. Okay, I can just calculate it. 36 divided by 98 equal to 0.3673 upon MB. So MB will be equal to 0.3673 upon 0.0089. 0.0089. So it is coming out to be equal to 41.27. So this will be the molar mass of the solute. So it is gram per mole. Hope these questions are clear to you. All right. So in the next video, I will be taking up the next 5 questions. And thank you for adjusting. Sometimes these things happen. So I will just suggest you one thing. Whenever you are doing something greater than yourself, that you are not keeping yourself at the front, you are doing some kind of service to your students or to your parents or to your teachers or anybody in this world, do not be bothered about what can stop you. I could have done that. That light is off now. So I could have thought of, recording the video again. But it's okay, because I know you need these solutions. Okay, you do not need to see me. You do not need to need to know how I look. Okay, so if light is gone, it's gone. It's okay. Okay, so when sometimes the things happen and you feel that you should stop there, don't think that way. Just shift your focus from yourself to the person you are serving. All right. So this is how I keep always moving forward, and I will keep telling you also that this is how you will be rising high in your life. There are going to be obstacles, but never stop. Be unstoppable. Keep always going forward. All right. So God bless, and I will be meeting you in the next video with next 5 questions.